It's not a win, but it's a good effort. Meanwhile, the world champions just got smoked by Banter FC. Ansu Fati's redemption arc is here, and who will win the 2025 Ballon d'Or? This is DMAC Daily. We've officially got Pep Parks the Bus in the big 2025. I'm talking 33% possession and a 5-4-1 low block to see off the game. Bro tried his best Jose Mourinho impression, but I'm sorry, the special one would never then concede a 94th minute equalizer due to a high-line mix-up. But fair play to Eberechi Eze though, that ball was 10 out of 10, and the finish by Martinelli even better. This guy somehow regained his Brazilian aura in the last 7 days. He stole the show in Bilbao, and now this, the renaissance no one really saw coming. What's even wilder is that despite Haaland picking up his 6th Premier League goal 5 match days in, it is remarkably his worst ever start to a Premier League season in terms of output. That is beyond insane. Now, the media reaction to this stalemate has been interesting. There is a real hypocrisy as to how the English press glaze City's defensive approach as opposed to Arsenal's pragmatism at the Etihad down to 10 men, but unfortunately I cannot empathize with Arsenal purely because their fan base is so uniquely obnoxious. Double standards aside though, I still unironically think Arteta is worthy of criticism. His unwillingness to take a risk at Anfield cost the Gunners dearly, and today on home soil was no different. Like, why was Eze benched for Mourinho to start with? The back four is defensively outstanding. You also have Rice and Zubimendi in front. That's a rock solid foundation, but Arteta's nature is so risk averse. So sure, they scraped a draw in the end, but this result does them no favors. Only Liverpool are celebrating here. Well, actually, for the neutrals, it was a pretty hilarious outcome. I mean, Arsenal Fan TV unintentionally did the funniest thing, recreating that iconic video celebrating another draw to City. Never change AFTV. Moving to the world champions, and they've been dealt a fresh battering, this time at the hands of Meme Chester Divided. This was one of the most comically disastrous games I've ever witnessed. From the first second, Chelsea were getting dominated. Peak Sanchez moment early on, a timely reminder that form is temporary, us is permanent. And so Esteval was understandably hooked. But just a minute later, Maresca subs out winger Neto for a centre-back, only for Palmer to pull up with an injury 15 minutes later. Two of the most shambolic goals followed, and then when Casemiro sees red, what does Maresca do to change the game? He brings on Malo Gusto to play left back and winger Tyreek George, who was then utilised as a striker. We are still an unserious football club. Only Chelsea could make this calamitous iteration of United look like a prime Sir Alex Ferguson side. Now, from the Red Devils' perspective, and look, it's 3 much needed points. Is this the turning point for Amorim? I still very much doubt it. I am still firmly of the opinion that against competent opposition, a midfield duo consisting of Bruno Fernandes and whoever else will continue to be exposed. The other major clash over the weekend was the Merseyside derby. Premier League record signings Isak and Wirtz watched from the bench as the Reds were flying in the first half, going 2 goals clear, Gravenberch with a beauty, and then teeing up Ekitike, who has hit the ground running at Anfield. However, the second half was a different story. Everton fought back valiantly and were in full control. Liverpool were noticeably worse upon the introduction of their marquee signings, but still held on to secure a 5th straight Premier League victory. Elsewhere in the league, and Crystal Palace made it 17 games unbeaten with a 2-1 win at West Ham. Wolves suffered another defeat at home to newly promoted Leeds. That's 5 straight L's to start the campaign. Spurs came from 2 goals down to salvage a point with Brighton. Kudos to Kudus with another impressive display. Moving to La Liga, and it's deja vu for Real Madrid, a somewhat unentertaining yet comfortable victory. Mbappe was back on the score sheet, this time from range, but Eder Militao's golazo was astronomically clear. He's had an amazing start to the season, especially considering he's come back from recent ACL blows to both legs. Speaking of injury comebacks, Bellingham and Camavinga also made their first appearances of the season. So more positive signs overall for Alonso. He's just got to be careful that he doesn't alienate his Galacticos. Rodrigo was benched and Vini was substituted once again. Their city rivals Atletico delivered another poor result, dropping 2 points at the hands of Mallorca. Alvarez missed a penalty, Sorloth was sent off, and then conceding the late equalizer. Everything is going wrong for Simeone's men. They're now 9 points adrift of first place, just 5 match days in. That is inexcusable, considering they dropped 176 million euros this summer. Meanwhile, Barca go 2 from 2 at the Johan Cruyff stadium, with Ferran Torres and Dani Olmo coming into the side and delivering the goods. The Shark was particularly impressive. You can thank Marcus Rashford for the opportunity, as the Englishman was dropped due to being late. Now, I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I mean, Ballon d'Or contender Rafinha was dropped just a few weeks ago for this very reason. So it's not a bombshell revelation, but he does have a history of this sort of unprofessionalism. It simply won't fly under Hansi Flick. Moving to Germany, and Harry Kane is farming the Bundesliga in the 25-26 season. Another hat-trick scored, this time away at Hoffenheim. He's now got double the amount of goals as the league's second highest goal scorer. In all competitions this season, 16 goal involvements in 7 games. That is diabolical work. You may as well hand Bayern the title now. Maybe Dortmund could give them a run for their money, particularly if Adeyemi keeps on firing, but the Bavarian Giants are looking overwhelmingly dominant. Over in Italy, and Roma prevailed in a feisty Derby della Capitale, whilst the greatest soccer player in the world, Christian Pulisic, had a spectacular individual performance away at Udinese, 2 goals and an assist to his name. Captain America has made a strong start to the season, as has Atalanta's Retegui replacement, Nikola Kristovic. This club consistently poaches gems, 2 goals, 3 assists in 4 Serie A appearances for La Dea, as they cooked Torino on the road. Do not sleep on this baller. Shifting gears to Liga, and Ansu Fati is back in the headlines. Fresh off of coming off the bench and scoring in his Champions League debut for the club, he has outdone himself spectacularly, coming off the bench in his Liga debut and scoring just 37 seconds later. But he wasn't done there. With the game tied at 2-2, he then bagged a bullet header to put them back in front in a game Monaco went on to win 5-2. The Catalan was visibly emotional, having scored a brace. Understandable, considering the last time he scored a league goal was way back in 2023. It's been a difficult few years for the La Masia lad, but 3 goals in his first 74 minutes for the Red and Whites. Starts don't come much better than that. Hopefully, he can sustain that level. The talent has always been there, and may I remind you, the guy's only 22 years old. Monaco have the option to sign him permanently at the season's end for just 12 mil, but if he has a breakthrough season, who's to say Barca don't just bring him back? There were also notable displays from the old-timer GOATs this weekend. Messi was at his magical best in Miami, 2 beautiful goals, and his assist was somehow even better. Ridiculous work, as was Ronaldo's latest display, scoring his first brace of the 25-26 season, meaning he's just 55 goals shy of that 1,000 total. And finally, we gotta quickly talk about tomorrow's Ballon d'Or ceremony. I can't believe Fabrizio Romano hasn't already leaked the winner. As of recording this, it's still anyone's guess. It's a bit of an awkward situation for PSG right now, despite the event being held in Paris, and despite the fact that they have a record 9 representatives up for this award. The majority won't be in attendance at the ceremony, as they're playing their rescheduled Le Classique away at Marseille. Luckily for Doué and Neves, they're both injured and will be in attendance, alongside the current Ballon d'Or favorite Ousmane Dembele, a quadruple winner, and with 51 goal contributions in 53 games, he's expected to win. At least that's what the bookies are saying. Fellow prolific wingers Rafinha and Salah are also in contention, but it appears as though the only legitimate competition for the Frenchman at this stage is possibly Lamine Yamal. I'm not particularly fussed who wins the award. It's a glorified popularity contest after all, and beyond that, I think all 4 attackers have had tremendous campaigns, both individually and collectively. I know the stat shaggers would be outraged at Yamal's hypothetical awarding, but his magic goes beyond statistics. Also, Ronaldinho famously won the award back in 05 with seemingly identical stats. The point I'm trying to make here is that there's more to the beautiful game than numbers alone. With all that being said though, I'm still backing Dembele to pick up the award. Anyways guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Catch you tomorrow.